Hey guys, GameFan here back with another Path of Exile video. This time we have the CoC Ice Spear Inquisitor build. Last time we bought just an overall showcase, not really going deep on the mechanics, but now I feel like I have enough grounds to talk about the character. As you can see, we've reached level 100, that's thanks to 5A carries on TFT. I'm not gonna grind level 100 myself again. I did it once and it was enough. The current playtime is around 10 days. Not bad. And we've gained a bunch of upgrades to the build. We have like increased our DPS by like 6 times or even more, depending on what setup I'm using for flasks. So we're gonna quickly go over the items, the gear, the skill tree, everything. And then I'm gonna have a Guardian map showcase and then a Formed showcase. We're also gonna do a Sanctum. So if you want to see, you can kind of see it for yourself how this build performs in Sanctums. I think it's gonna be first floor. I don't have a full Sanctum prepared. It's like the first floor. So the idea is the same. It hasn't changed. We are casting Cyclone. We're channeling it. And if we land a critical strike, we're going to be casting Ice Spear. With my current cooldown reduction and everything, we're going to be doing this 10 times a second. So that's pretty good. That's like the main reason we can do that is we have a vacant cast on crit. The regular cast on crit doesn't have, if we look it up, there is a difference between regular cast on crit and a vacant cast on crit. This, not with levels, not with quality, this doesn't scale cooldown reduction. This does. If we take it out of here, it's going to be 22% cooldown recovery rate. If we put it in here, it's 37. That's because from the skill tree and from the item. So we're using a Skin of the Lords for +2 level Socketed Gems. It's insanely strong. 100% global defenses and Iron Will. This is just an insane DPS and defensive chest. Like there is not really any better choice than this for this particular build that we're doing. For the weapon, we're using a cost freeze, and it's surprising as it is, as one of the best damage options that you can have is just straight up crit multi. Obviously, having +1 skills, skills for an additional projectile would be better, but it's like 10 divines currently, and it's you know, I got this pretty beautiful one for like 40 chaos, so it's, you know, it's being cost effective. That's what it is. We beast corrupted it to 30% and put a harvest enchant on it, which gives 2% ally damage per 1% ally damage per 2 quality. It's 15% ally damage this way, and the rolls are pretty good. What's the most important in this weapon is it has 11% increased attack speed. That's because the ways the attack speed scaling and the cooldown reduction interact. So you have to be pretty precise on what attack speed numbers you are getting on your items. That's why you need to always triple check stuff with a path of building in the same time. So currently this is like pretty optimized in terms of amount of triggers that we can get in a second. And yeah, if I were to get like any more attack speed than what I have currently, there's 9 on my flask, and you will see I have some jewels in my skill tree that also give me a bunch of attack speed, but just the right amount. If I were to have a cost freeze with 10% attack speed instead of 11, that would be like a couple 100,000 increased DPS, but any more or less than that would be like millions of DPS lost. That's just the way the like cast on crit and the attack speed stuff interact. So for the other items, I have a Crown of the Inward Eye with +1 max power charges. That's because we are scaling power charges. We can have 7 maximum if we go full in. And you will see why that is really important, because power charges are good because you get crit chance from them and other stuff, as you will see. We have an Astromantis. It's 20% quality. It's not perfect. It's pretty far from perfect, actually. but I needed it to be corrupted, and you'll see why. I have an Aegis Aurora. It's pretty low roll actually. I've realized I could be having way more way more ES than I have right now from it, but just the base idea of the shield matters is 2% armor. 2% of our armor is recovered as ES when we block, and we have, you know, pretty good block chance. Why do I not have... Okay, that's because of weapon swap. Okay, never mind. Then I have the Vivinsect ring. This is from June Master Missions you can get them from, I think. Like it has an unveiled stat in it. That's like one of the main stuff about it, is you can only get it from Betrayal. We're using a discipline in it. That's why it's pretty good to have the +5 on it, because it's, as you can see, pretty large amount of my defense is coming from having high ES. And then I got 20% attribute quality on it, and gotten strength int unveil on it. You could have stuff like this. Let me search. Yeah, like this. Minimum endurance charge and endurance charge on kill. It's pretty good in mapping, because you're gonna get a bunch of extra reduction because of it. But I'm mainly doing bosses. For maps, my defenses are perfectly enough, so I'm ditch this to have some even more DPS. The other ring is just like a rare ring with tier 1 strength. As you can see, it's fractured, but it obviously doesn't need to be. It just makes crafting a lot easier. And then I have Dex on it to equip my Cospreys, some res, but the most important stuff is non-channeling skills have -7 to mana cost. If you were to go for mana, life and mana quality, that would be -8 mana cost. But I feel like just having good items is enough. Like, you don't need to go for life and mana quality, and attribute quality is way better. Like, you're trying to get as many stats as you can, because from Shaper's Touch you are getting a bunch of accuracy rating, a bunch of ES because of strength, but most importantly, because we are a Hierophant, we have this node, the Righteous Providence, which gives an extra 1% crit chance per point of strength or int, whichever is lower. So in order to have as much crit from this as possible, you need to scale both strength and int. That's why we have 581 and 606. Int also gives max ES as base, and we are having a Crown of Inward Eye, which scales ES and ES into spell damage at 30% value. So everything is scaling off of everything, and it's awesome. We also have Iron Will from our Skin of the Lords, which means that we are getting strength damage bonus applies to spell damage as well, which currently, if you were to calculate this, it's like 100, 110, 116% increased spell damage from strength, which is pretty nice, I would say. It's like a couple million DPS from just that keystone alone. For the boots, I'm having just like basic movement speed, resist, but the most important stuff here is the 15% cooldown recovery rate. With my current setup of having this much cooldown recovery from the Awakened Cast on Crit, and having as much attack speed as I have, getting exactly 15% cooldown recovery will bump me to 0.09 cooldown, which means you can trigger this anomalous ice spear 10 times a second. If this was just 14%, again, you would be losing like at least half of your DPS, because the numbers are all messed up and it's bad. So you need exactly 15% cooldown recovery rate. With my current setup, I'm using this only from my boots. If you don't have as high of a budget as I have, which is actually not that much, you could get something like this. A heavy belt with cooldown recovery rate and tier 1 strength. Pretty easy to get, actually. This is like 5 chaos, 10 chaos or something. But you can get a lot of DPS out of it. What I'm having instead of that heavy belt is a Magnate with crit multi during any flask effect. That's because we're going to have at least one of these flasks up all the time, which is 323 crit multi, and it has strength and all those double and triple damage with strength, and we obviously have that, so it's an insane damage belt. For the sockets itself, we're having an anomalous Ice Spear because quality gives it a pierce. 10% quality is 1% pierce, is 1 extra pierce. If you were to have an Ashes of Stars, you could get some extra pierce from that, but then you would be losing Astromantis. So, you know, the normal Ice Spear is good, and probably a 2120 normal Ice Spear is probably cheaper than anomalous 2120. But I don't know, we'll see. Then it's just a regular Cyclone. Wall Cyclone is like completely unnecessary because you're not gonna use it. I'm trying to get one with, I think Divergent is the one which gives extra movement speed for quality. We have a vacant element of focus because of just the amount of damage you can get out of it. A vacant cast on crit, kind of self-explanatory. Anomalous greater multiple projectiles. We could get a vacant GMP. First of all, it's like 21 divines, it's pretty expensive. Second of all, the anomalous quality makes our skill cost reduced mana cost. Damn, that was a pretty hard fucking sentence. With anomalous quality, we have less cost for link skills, and it's pretty good actually. That's why we can have 2 mana cost. If I were to remove this, we still have 2 mana cost, but we don't have GMP. So this is pretty important to keep our cost as low as possible, because we have a lot of reserved mana, so we are not gonna be able to sustain full DPS. Even though we have exactly calculated attack speed, cooldown recovery, crit chance and everything, we're not gonna be able to sustain our full DPS like this. And we have an inspiration, further resource cost reduction. And one thing that is really important, that I'm not sure if I'm right about this, but I feel like I should be, is you are only going to get inspiration charges if you have mana cost. If you go so low into mana cost that your skills don't cost anything, then you're not going to be able to gain inspiration charges, which is a bunch of damage. As you can see, 6% more elemental damage per charge and 9% increased crit chance per charge, which is a lot of DPS actually. So you should have at least 1 mana cost. Then you're gonna be good. And how are you gonna get those increased, like this low amount of mana cost, is having a Vivian Sect. We've seen this ring before, like I talked about it. I just didn't mention the fact that we get -2 total mana cost for each corrupted item equipped. That's why we are trying to get as many items corrupted as possible. Some of this is easy, like Crown the Inward Eye, you kind of need to have a corrupted one to have +1 power charge. Yeah, it's just beast corruption for most of the items. Like this, and this are beast corrupted, so you don't brick your item and you even get more stuff out of it. Magnate, again, pretty obvious with the corrupted implicit. Shaper's Touch, obvious with the corrupted implicit. The only thing where you're going to be gambling a little bit is with the Vivian Sect, but it's like 10 chaos each, so it's not that big of a deal. Astromantis, on the other hand, it's like 1 divine to get something like this, and if you want to get a perfect corrupted, then it's like 2 divines at least. And then you might even have to put the charisma on yourself, which is like another 150 chaos, I think. Pretty cool stuff. I have some other gem setups, like a precision, determination, hatred with enlighten, precision for the crit chance and accuracy, determination for the armor, hatred for the cold damage. We have a mark on hits, assassin's mark, arcane surge setup. This doesn't need to have anything linked to it, like this can just work on its own. Mark on hit is gonna go off every time we hit a rare or unique enemy. Assassin's mark is crit chance, crit multi, and then the extra stuff. And then arcane surge is just more damage and mana regen, pretty good. We have Defiance Banner, Molten Shell, Tempest Shield, and Flame Dash. Defiance Banner to boost, to give us some even more armor. Molten Shell is pretty good if you're stacking this much armor. We're going to gain like 5000 shield without having like a Granite Flask on. Tempest Shield is to get us even more block chance and shock immunity, and Flame Dash is just like a cool movement ability. I use it in almost all of my builds. We have a shield charge, faster attacks, because we are using a shield and it's much faster to go around in Sanctums. I feel like I just like shield charge. Again, if I can use it, I will use it. And then cast on Death Portal because we're playing softcore. So for the skill tree, we're going to be taking... I feel like I've showed this the last time, but I just kind of want to go over it. This is like a level 100 tree. So I'm not saying this is the most optimized because a lot of people are not taking this part of the tree. I do because I want this extra power charge. I just like it. Other people are taking stuff like Divine Shield, for example, pretty useful. Or taking this armor, ES, auras part of the tree. And that's like all the variation I've seen. So just quick overview of the tree. It looks like this. We start at here. We get these 2 points. This is a damage increase. This 4% increase attack and cast speed is a damage increase. If you were to take this, again, the same thing, it's gonna mess up our attack speed numbers. It's gonna be like a huge DPS decrease. Like, we're talking about millions and millions of DPS. We take this jewel socket, we take these shield nodes, glancing blows, power charge, jewel socket, aura nodes, increase damage for each aura and stuff, crit stuff. This level of all critical support gems actually works for Awaken cast on crit. That's why we have so much cooldown recovery rate. Then we're taking this shield node with more crit multi per ES on shield. That's why you want a high roll. If you have 400 or anywhere close to 400 armor and ES, you're gonna be gaining like 22% crit multi out of it. Or 24, 25, I think. 25 crit multi, now it's like 20. It's still a good node. Then we have an 8 passive cold damage with cold to the core, prismatic heart, and widespread destruction. Large cluster jewel is because if you have it an 8 passive with this setup, like 3 notables, you can save 2 points on not having to pick these like small passives. And then we have a medium cluster jewel with eye to eye and repeater. This is all of our medium clusters. This is increased projectile damage and attack and cast speed, and this is more projectile damage if the target is closer to us, which is gonna be all the time. And we have 2 small cluster jewels with mana reservation efficiency, and I try to get as much ES and strength from these as possible, because this is like a pretty good amount of defense that you can get from these. Again, 13 max ES and some strength with auras, doesn't even matter. And then we're taking Spiteful Presence for Hatred mana reservation and Self-Control for Discipline mana reservation efficiency. We're taking another ES wheel here with Stun Threshold based on ES instead of life. What you could also take is what I think I usually will do is 3% of max mana converted to ES. It's like 150 like this. Then we take this power charge stuff, another power charge, jewel socket for militant faith, then we get inner conviction. That's why it's important to get as many power charges as possible, because it's more spell damage. It's not increased spell damage, it's more spell damage. It's an overall 21% multiplier. Then we get some int and stat nodes, another crit wheel with crit multi against unique enemies, strength because of Iron Will and the crit chance that we get from being an Inquisitor. Again, similar cluster jewels with, again, Cold to the Core, Prismatic Heart, Widespread Destruction, 8 sockets, Eye to Eye Repeater, Jewel sockets, and then we have a Watcher's Eye with ES on hit and cold damage while affected by Hatred. Something like this, I think, is around 20 divines. Not sure. Yeah, this is like 12, 20 divines. I managed to snipe this one for 3 divines and it's insanely strong. Like, I had a Watcher's Eye before, which was only ES on hit, while discipline. It was 2 divines, and then I managed to get this, which is 3 divines, and it's insanely strong. So I saved like 17 divines on this Watcher's Eye alone. I don't know what the guy was thinking. I'm kind of sorry about that. by now by thinking about it, but I kind of don't care. We have CI, obviously, because we are basing all of our stuff on ES, so we don't really want to take chaos damage. I mean, we can take 1 chaos damage, and then we die, so you know, if we don't have chaos insulation. Then you take this aura stuff for, you know, a bunch of aura effect and even more aura effect. And then you take this power charge and jewel sockets. Pretty basic stuff. My jewels are something like crit multi, as much crit multi as possible. That's like the biggest DPS for this build, kind of obviously. And then I have 1 reduced mana cost of skills because now it's 6 mana. And now it's 2, so it's pretty important. You can also have reduced mana cost per 10 devotion on your Militant Fate, and it's actually pretty good. Like, you could get 40 from having this slot, 50 actually, so it's 5%. So you can have a Militant Fate with that mana cost reduction, and then you don't need to get this reduced mana cost. Pretty cool stuff. And then again, just crit multi. Attack speed is precisely calculated with PoB to have this set up, where I think there is 6% attack speed with swords. There is no attack speed here, and there is a 6 and 7% attack speed with 11 on the sword itself and 9% from the granite flask, and that's how it works out to be. I think this is the best number I can get with my build. I'm not sure. As I said, 10% from cost breeze would be the best. That's like 100,000 of DPS, I think. Pantheons, we're taking Soul of Brand King for freeze immunity, and where is it? Soul of Evereth for burning ground immunity. Pretty cool stuff. Now for the flasks, I'm using a Dying Sun with increased effect. That's gonna give us 3 extra projectiles while the flask is up. Against bosses, I'm using a Bottled Faith with increased duration. That's gonna guaranteed 100% crit chance and 9% increased damage taken. Insanely like strong DPS if you are doing bosses. If you are not, then I'm doing something like a Surgeon's Quicksilver Flask. It's gonna be up all the time against, like, if you're doing mapping content. And I'm using this against Uber Shaper because I feel like this is the best one I could be using with less cold damage taken, with ink duration and some garbage mods on it. I need to reroll it to get better one. It's a Surgeon's mod on both, like chance to gain flask charge when you deal a crit, and it has increased crit chance, while flask effect on this has attack speed. And I have an anti-bleed Quicksilver Flask for some reason. Whatever. So now we're gonna get to the map showcase. As I said, Maze of the Minotaur. Shaper Guardian maps are actually pretty good this league. This is my skill tree, like, I mean, Atlas tree. It's not really important, I guess. It's just Expedition, Kirak maps, some Breach stuff for some reason. Don't ask. We have Stream of Consciousness because we want to get as many league mechanics as possible with just Alkengo. Again, Expedition, Breach, Expedition, Breach, Expedition. Searing Exarch altars because those are good money on average. This is for Synthesis map drops, this is for Shaper Guardian map drops and Elder Guardian map drops. I'm doing Uber Shaper farms currently. This build can kinda reliably do Uber Shaper. It's still difficult. I need to learn this boss and it's bad. And then it's Conqueror map drops. Okay, that's anything about it, and these are the league mechanics that I'm not doing. Okay, my main money-making strategy currently is farming these Shaper maps, like buying them off of TFT, and just running them, doing the map, killing the Guardian with Maven Witness, and then doing the invitations, and then doing Shaper to get the fragment, and that's about it. Oh, I only have 6. We're not gonna be able to. Okay, we need 1 more map in order to do the Sanctum floor, and that's pretty much how we run maps. I don't really care about mobs on like just normal mobs if I'm not doing like Searing Exarch altars. Like I just get the 2-gen, nice. I just get the Sanctum room. I do the expedition if it's 2-gen or Denig, and then we go for the boss kill. That's pretty much what I'm doing in every single map. I don't really care about the base mobs itself. Or Breach. I don't know why I still have Breach. I guess maybe for the challenge. If you're doing expedition, what you need to watch out for is hits against monsters cannot be critical strikes. That basically disables your build. Okay, like that's a pretty big L to take. Like you're just not gonna be able to do the expedition. Maybe you can swap out some of your gems to cast while channeling, which is pretty dumb. And there is another one. Oh my god. And it's all the quant, you see? There is one quant mod, and there is another one. Damn, pretty bad. And then obviously cold immunity is pretty big no-no for this build. Kind of obviously, you can do something like... I had a map where I had cold immunity on like the first one, and then I had this cheesy setup with cold to fire support. It kind of worked, but I also died like 3 times while doing it, so it's... Just watch out for those, okay? It's like pretty easy to avoid. We double check if you don't have any bad mods, and then we just let it rip. Activate our flasks. Hopefully I don't die during this showcase, because that would be pretty cringe. Nice, logbook. Another one. What? Okay, can we get a 4th one, please? What the fuck? Okay, I didn't expect to have like my luckiest ever expedition during just like a regular map showcase. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind. I'm not gonna complain. Duh. And are all of them black scythe? No, I mean it's whatever. It's still 2 out of 3. So this is like 90 chaos just from those 3 logbooks. You can sell them on like if you trade macro. Or like, if you price check it yourself, the black site logbooks are like 30 chaos on the trade website, but if you go onto TFT, there are people who are bulk buying them for 40 chaos each. So if you want to sell your logbooks, I would look up like TFT and wait for somebody to offer like a big money for them and then dump all of them. We're going to be, of course, we wait that out and then we just burst. And it's dead. Nice, we got a pretty nice little synthesis map. That's the 1.5% chance proccing. And then we have this invitation. It's nothing super bad. Avoid elements could be bad. Attack speed could be bad, but it's nothing terrible. The extra max HP as ES could be a little bit bad because I want to burst down the mobs, but I feel like I have enough DPS. Hopefully we get Hydra in the beginning. Nope. Nope. And one of them is dead. Phoenix is dead. Okay. Hydra still has like the most DPS out of all of the Guardians. Whoops. Shoot. Where you at, buddy? Nope. As you can see, the ES region on block is pretty strong. Nice. Okay, we didn't die. Cool. 2 fragments, a conflict. That's like 50 chaos. 50 chaos. And that's about it. 5 fragments, that's 20 chaos each. That's 170 chaos from a 60 chaos invitation. Pretty nice. That was like omega money. I've made a divine during this video. What the fuck? Okay, so I mean I've promised that I'm gonna do a Sanctum showcase, so I'm just gonna grab a random Dunes map. Those are my favorited maps. Just out of pure disrespect, we're gonna do it white because I can. That's why. Also forgot to put back the movement speed flask, and then we're just strictly looking for the Gwenan. We're gonna ignore her because Astrogallies are really cheap this league. You need like 320 to get 1 divine worth of Astrogallies. So we're gonna start out just I don't have any special relic, like if you wanna look that up. These are my relic effects. I'm getting Inspiration and Resolve when we do Fountain, Affliction, and then it's just random garbage that I haven't gotten better ones since. And thanks to the Frost Nova that we have from our Cospreys, we can freeze these Guardians very often. Like, it's pretty easy to freeze these guys, so you're not really gonna have trouble dealing with them. Just rushing through. Hopefully, we are not really gonna get anything super special in like the first floor, so there is no like exalts or divines or mirrors or something. It's just, yeah, you're just trying to not to get bad afflictions on yourself, because it's gonna be pretty bad when you get something like you can't see what afflictions you are getting, or you're not always sticking to the room you want to. That's Omega rip. Like, you can just, I've lost 3 divines because of it, or something like that. Like, there was already 2 divines on me, like at the end of the Sanctum run, and then I found another one from the map, and then it teleported me to another room, which was amazing, and that room killed me. So I just lost all of the stuff that I had, which was pretty bad. I hate this Guardian so much. Guardian? What am I talking about? Just die, thanks. It would be still a lot easier to do something like, you know, freezing pulse totems. You don't even need to kill all of them. Why am I doing this? 4 stack decks. Wow. First floor rewards, dude. Let's see what I have here. We could take minus max resolve. Chest no longer... Oh, that's bad. We can just take this. And then we take the Cursed Pact. Cool. We have a lot of resolve anyway, like 317. And we're obviously gonna have way more, because we're gonna be taking fountains. And inspiration is, in my opinion, easier to get. So I'm always just... If I can have something like lose max resolve, I'm usually taking it, because it's not that big of a deal. Anyway. And then, okay, we can take a double pact. Hopefully we get something good, not like a random affliction. That would be pretty bad. Because as you can see, we just dodged one of the you are no longer, like, you're not always sticking to the room you want to affliction, which is pretty garbage. You always need to you also need to pay attention to not get something like monster action speed. We can flash. See, major boon for 50% max resolve. Sanctum map is fully revealed. That's insane. I'm gonna finish this. Dude, that's sick. I didn't even see what the rest of the map was. I'm so dumb. Hopefully I can take the merchant. Like, that would be pretty bad to miss out on a good merchant. I mean, I'm not really taking the Aurelius coins in the map. Like, it's like what we can get 7, or we get 9 from this. Oh my goodness, insane. Let's see, anything good? We don't have 200 resolve to gain, which is pretty shite. Let me risk it anyway. Oh my god, minimap is hidden. No. We got the worst one. One of the worst ones. Another really bad could be like movement speed reduction, but that's about it. More damage dealing is pretty bad, because the end boss is just gonna one-shot you if you're not paying attention. And it doesn't matter how much inspiration you have, because you're just gonna die. So, I mean, fuck. It's so bad. I don't care about the merchant. I just go. Dude. Oh my god. All the game knowledge has to come in. We lost some, I think. Lost some inspiration. No hit run is GG. Oh my god. It's gonna be an awful run unless we can get like an accursed pact to remove that, which would be preferable. Nice, we got him. Okay, anything good? 10 and more. Cool. So that's how my Sanctum runs usually go. It's pretty easy. Like we're not really struggling. That's thanks to the freeze we have from Ice Nova. So yeah, that's you can like pretty confidently. What the fuck? Nice. You can pretty confidently clear Sanctums with this build. I don't think I have anything else to say. I feel like I've covered everything. I'm gonna be leaving a POB for this build in the description. If you have anything to ask, I'm answering all comments all the time, so just feel free to ask anything, really anything. Even just ask me how my day was. It was pretty nice so far. So, until the next video guys, see you later, bye!